and I'll be talking, and people whose ears were cut off from motor accidents, I won't touch them. The ear will be reconstructed and will come back.
How old were you, sir?
People who, this is like 18. People with hunchback will be coming close to me, and I will talk. The hunchback will crawl down to their waist, according to them, because I have not had hunchback before. I don't know how it feels. They said that as I was talking, the hunchback crawled back to their waist. They tried to kill whatever it was that was crawling, and discovered that the hunchback is gone, and it's been there for 21 years. My father passed away when I was very young, but before then, he had introduced me into the ministry. I've been in the ministry for the past 53 years. When I was in primary school, he would make me fast for 3 days before every major exam. He would make me fast from morning till evening and stop for 3 days. Then, in my primary 6, in the upper class of the primary school, he would make me fast for 3 continuous days without stopping, without eating. So by the time I went into secondary school, I had begun to fast longer time. And then by the time I was graduating from what the US call high school, I don't know what they call it, secondary school, from what we inherited from here, I was now able to fast for 7 straight days, not eating until after 7 days. Because he himself used to fast for 40 days, not eating. My mother used to fast for 10 days, not eating. My grandmother also would fast for 10 days. And they're all very prophetic. You walk into them and tell lies. They will wait for a few seconds to see if you will correct yourself. If you don't, they tell you why you came and the correct thing you're supposed to have said. They ask you why you are telling lies. So that helped me, because when I was in secondary school, there were these winds of distractions. And I told myself, anything I do here, when I get home, my mother and my grandmother will know everything, so I better behave myself. And so I grew up kind of knowing that if you're a Christian, then you should walk in the word of knowledge. My father himself walked in the miraculous. People would bring dead people, all kinds of people, to our local church. And then he said, I'll tell him to put them in one room. And when he comes back, he will pick them up. So I told myself, if this is Christianity, then I rather do it the genuine way.
Sorry, Daddy. As you said, pick them up. You pick them from the floors.
They will be bringing somebody who is sick, who dies halfway, because the juju priest, fetish priest, had told the owners that this one is dead. They should carry away. And it is when he tells them, or that she tells them to carry away, that they bring them to church, because they believe that the God of the church is very slow. So Satan is faster to respond to them. So they will first of all go to the fetish priest to get healing, to get deliverance. And then when the devil first them, then they now come to church. So on their way to church, some of them would die on the way. But they will still have the courage to manage to get to church. And so there's this woman, they bewitched with 30 spirits. Her body folded into her personality, her body. And so they were close to the church when she died. And they came to me, and we were playing soccer. And so I took them to a guest room and put them there and asked them to keep the cups there. And the reason why they kept the cups there was to go and construct a coffin that can accommodate a round person. So they went and constructed the coffin, and were coming with the coffin back into the church. And they saw the lady they left in the room, crippled and folded in, sitting down discussing with me and my father outside. They fell down. They fell down with their coffin and ran and were screaming. People asked them, what's your problem? They said, 3 ghosts, 3 ghosts. And I'm like, am I also one of the ghosts? So people said, okay, let's go and see. People who know me and know my father now began to come straight to us. And then these people said that you are ghosts. I said, I don't know what's wrong with them. They said, okay, what of the third person there? And so the third person didn't know when she came there. I'm the only one who knows the story, and the people who are running away. And what happened was that when my father came in, I told my father what happened. And then when he was betting, he said to the Lord, are you the one who killed this lady? Or is it the devil's work? And if the devil's work, can't we reverse it? And God said, if you want, go ahead and reverse it. And that was all my father needed. So he called me and we went in there. He commanded the woman to come back to life. The woman opened her eyes. Then he said to the Lord, it's useless with folded hands inside your tummy, legs folded. You can't sit, you can't lie down, you can't move. Let the hands, let the feet all come out. And like rubber, the hands will come out, the feet will come out. And then he now leaves the room and tells me to help her get ready. I said, not me, don't be me and you. I can't stay here. So I will leave her. And then went and sat under an orange tree. I went and brought a bench. So when the people carrying the coffin came back, they saw me, the lady, and my father sitting on the same bench under an orange tree. They were shocked and fell down from their bicycles they were coming with. So the natives, the people around, brought them back, and they came close and called the lady. Her name was Mary, or Miss Mary. I don't know where she is. I used to see her a few years ago, and I remind her that you know you're living on a borrowed life, because I was there when you died. She said yes. So, and the people removed their hats, and held it in their hands, and then said, this God that does things like this, how can we know him? And so my father would call them close. They were afraid to go near the person they brought and then lead them to Christ. They would call the lady by her name, Mary, and she would call them by their names. You know, Uncle this, Uncle this. They didn't know what to do with the coffin they've just constructed. Whether they sold it or whether they took it back, I don't know. But the lady stayed with us a few days and then went home. And so my father did things like that. And so I told myself, if Christianity is like this, then I should be doing it like this. So when I finished from secondary school, I began to conduct crusades. I mean, from that age. And I'll be talking, and people whose ears were cut off from motor accidents, I won't touch them. The ear will be reconstructed and will come back.
How old were you, sir?
People who, this is like 18. Yes, 18. And then people with hunchback will be coming close to me, and I will talk. The hunchback will crawl down to their waist, according to them, because I have not had hunchback before. I don't know how it feels. They said that as I was talking, the hunchback crawled back to their waist. They tried to kill whatever it was that was crawling, and discovered that the hunchback is gone, and it's been there for 21 years. There was one time I was in his village, and they organized a crusade. I had some white people with me. And then, for no just reason, I was distracted, and a madman was coming towards the stage. And they started shouting, Pastor Mosy, Pastor Mosy. I ran, jumped onto the stage. So what is it? He said, madman, come. I said, what are you doing? You have the microphone. You are the one preaching. The madman is coming to you. She said, the madman is charging at them. I took the microphone and I roared back. There's a lion that lives inside all of us. And When provoked, unconsciously, you roar like a lion. And I commanded everybody. I said to the madman, your punishment, I said to the spirit of madness, your punishment is that you lose this man today. And every spirit of insanity at the sound of my voice, everywhere now, you lose your captive. And I counted 1 to 3. Mad people in the market, mad people on the road, and the mad people there were delivered instantly. It was on that ground, that particular ground, as I spoke to the mad people and the demons in charge of madness left them, that a woman vomited a huge live snake. And I told people, kill that snake. I said, madam, what are you doing with snake inside your body? She said she didn't know it was snake. That every time she conceives, something will move in her tummy and she will miscarry. That's all she knows. She didn't know it was a snake. I said, okay, well, the snake has been killed. We prayed for her and left her. A year after I saw her, she came with me to visit a crusade ground we were having with a baby boy. And I said, madam, how can we help you? She said, don't you recognize me? I said, I don't. So she reminded me she was the one who vomited snake, and she had conceived and she had a baby. So this is the way I grew up. And by the time I was doing my youth service, I'll be coming on a highway, and youth service, you're still in your 20s. I'll be coming on a highway and I see corpses. So I will go close to see if I can recognize any of them, to call the relatives to come and pick the corpse. And then I saw 3 corpses, and 2 of them had pins, and Jesus says, on their lapel. And I said, excuse me, how many people were in the van that someone saw that? They said 18. Okay, so 15 went to the hospital, and 3 died, and 2 of them are the ones that are bold enough to carry lapel pins that Jesus saves. I fell on my knees on the grass where they were, carried one of them on my right, carried one of them on the left. I said, God, I will not allow you to suffer this disgrace. If the people who own these people are not believers, when they come here and see Jesus saves, they will make mockery of you. Therefore, give me back their lives now. 10 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday, they were all wearing suits. I never knew they were going to be groomsmen in a wedding. And I held them. I don't know how many times I said, Father, give me back their lives now. Father, people came around, oh, sorry, are they your brothers? I don't know them from Adam, but they were wearing Jesus Saves. And so I held them, and because I love God very jealously. And suddenly I had a shock in my arms, and the 2 corpses came back to life. This was I was doing my youth service. And then by the time I went beyond that, I had become used to it. I'd be flying from Jamaica into Miami in the US, and somebody would die in the aircraft. They would call the doctors, call nurses, everybody. They do their best, and they said, sorry, the person is dead. And the pilot will announce when we get to Miami, all of you will wait in the aircraft so that we'll get some agencies to come and investigate to know what killed the guy in the airplane. I said, no, that's not fair. The guy died directly behind me. So if the investigators come, so the cameras will be on my face. No. I got up from my seat. My wife was praying, and then I went and put my knee on the laps of the dead, of the corpse, held his hand, put back to the chest, and said, Des, I bought my ticket to fly in this aeroplane. How did you come in here? And God said, stop talking to dead. You have no business with him. Command the dead to come back to life. And I said, in the name of Jesus, let the power that raised Jesus from the dead bring you now back to life. His locked jaw dropped. Saliva began to come out of his mouth. He opened his eyes. I called the airline staff to bring cup to collect the saliva so it doesn't mess his shirt up. Then the doctor who confirmed him dead came around. Because when I put my knee on his lap, to bring him back to life, he came to me and said, "What are you doing?" I told him, "I'm praying." He said, "See how stupid you church folks are. You left your seat and you came to another man's seat and you sit on top of a corpse. You want to pray. Can't you pray from your seat?" I didn't talk to him because I have no business with him. So when this guy now came back to life, he comes around, held his hand, checked his wrist, and to get the pulse, he opened his eyes. He brought out his stethoscope, checked his heartbeat. He hit the boy and said, "Can you hear me?" He said, "Yes." "What's your name?" And the young man mentioned his name. He said, "No, this is not true." He said, "When the brain dies, it takes a while for it to come alive, for you to remember anything." So he looked at me, said, "Where are you from?" So I told him where I come from. And then he said, "This is God." I said, "Really? A few minutes ago you were fighting me, and now you have become my associate pastor." "Yes, this is God." And then when we arrived into Miami, I told them to go and tell the pilot that there's no dead person, there's no cops in the place, nothing to investigate, no cameras. So when we arrived in Miami, instead of people to go to the immigration, they line up to collect the address of my church in Miami. And I told them, "I'm sorry, I don't live in Miami." And that's how I have lived my life. Thank you.